Now, you've worked with all the levels of wigs. What's the top end? We all know what the bottom end is. You can get a $5 wig at Party City or whatever. But how, for like a RuPaul wig, are those cheap wigs styled beautifully, or are they very expensive wigs styled beautifully?
They, I'm gonna be honest with you, there are both. There are both. There are sometimes you just find a color that one company won't have, or you'll find something that just really responds. And I feel like sometimes the older the wig, the more you can work with it, and the more it like sort of sits up on itself. I will say some of the best wigs that I've ever worked with or ever worn are by a company called Wigs by Vanity.
Yes.
And Wigs by Vanity is Ben Vanity from Australia. There's so many different companies, but I think, you know, like working with a wig wardrobe, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that, again, that brand, and then a variation on that brand.
Right.
So you don't want to go too far from what someone's comfort level is, but you want to sort of take them there. And so, you know, you will get people that say, oh, I would love to see RuPaul in a black wig, or I would love to see RuPaul in braids, or I would love to see, and you have seen that. RuPaul has worn that. RuPaul's had such a long career. But at this point, I think, you know, working on Drag Race, it's not, working behind the scenes, it's not a 1950s automat where you walk in and you push a button. I want that color of wig, I want it like this, and I don't walk up to RuPaul and say, you're putting this on your head, and walk out there. It doesn't happen.
I bet not.
RuPaul's a client. RuPaul is a client, and RuPaul has a brand to protect, and RuPaul says, before she walks out, this is how I want to look. And so she'll say, look in the, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Because I don't like it this way, I like it this way. So there are many times when Ru will put her fingers in the wig and rework it and say, okay, there is where I want the proportion, there is where I want the storyline, now finish it. But she's very easy to work with and is always open to stuff, but there's certain things that she likes to see featured and likes you to work within that. So, I mean, there's many times where I've said, ooh, girl, I want you to wear a black wig like Red Hot and Ru album.
Yeah.
And that's just not something she wants to do. You know, I can't push someone into something that they don't want to do. I can only, again, you know, you go to a hair salon and you say to somebody, I want a mohawk.
Right.
And they say, oh, I think you'd look better in a Caesar haircut. And then you're like, well, fuck you, I said I want a mohawk.
Yeah.
So you will do it, or you're not going to get paid. You'll do what you're told. And I am very good at doing what I'm told. At least I think, anyway.
Well, I believe the Emmy voters also think you did a good job.
I would hope so. And I will tell you that I also think, because of the Drag Race phenomenon and because of things like Hey Qween, for instance, or fashion photo review, people have a bit of, they think they have sort of a carte blanche to say whatever they want because they believe that reading is fundamental.
Right.
So they think insulting is reading.
Yeah.
And they think correcting is reading. And they think that pointing the finger is reading. And so what happens is, this is not all Drag Race fans, but I will say from I haven't experienced this at a show or out of town or anything, but I have experienced from people specifically on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the social media platforms, where they will say, this is ugly, you should do this, this, and this, whether it has to do with my role as a creative producer or my role as in front of the camera talent. They think it's okay to say those things because they figure, well, they say it on Fashion Photo Review.
Exactly.
Why can't I say it? Well, and I think what people don't realize is that, you know, there's a difference between advice that's requested and unsolicited opinion. I feel like when people tag me in something on Instagram, they tagged me because they wanted me to see it.
Yeah.
And so that's not me coming for them, that's them sending for me.
Yes, it is.
And I don't feel like I throw shade. I've always felt like I shed light. And I don't think there's anything wrong with me saying, I see what you're saying here. I don't appreciate it. I think that you're ill-mannered. I think it's inappropriate. I think it's not nice for you to come onto my page with a picture of a contemporary that I posted and you telling me how ugly they are. Or I don't understand where that comes. I really don't. And I mean, you know, whenever I'm out and about in a restaurant and I see people have their kids running around, I think to myself, I'm not mad at those children. I'm mad at their parents. Who are your parents?
Who are your parents?
And so I wonder for these people, again, not all Drag Race fans, but some online personalities who are hiding behind the keyboard do have a tendency to say those things, and I wonder if wherever they are, no one's told them, guess what? you are a really good cook, and I bet you could have a career as a cook. Or guess what? You comb beautiful finger waves. Maybe you should be a hairstylist. No one's ever, I think with a lot of these people, let them know you're worthy. You don't have to rip anyone else down. You don't have to make fun of them. Some of these people are somewhere where nobody's telling them that they're worth a shit. And they are worth a shit. And the only reason they're saying those things is because they want someone to feel as bad as they feel. And it sucks. It really sucks. Because I've said to people before, you don't mean that. You don't mean that. And I know that you know that I'm not affected by that on a personal level. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It hurts my sensibilities, but it doesn't hurt my feelings. It really doesn't, because I've heard it before. I have a mirror, you know what I mean? I don't feel bad because I'm a fat bitch. I don't, but I don't need you to refer to me as that.
Cheers
Unless
to that.
you know me. Unless you know me. Cheers.
All right, we have one more hairdo or hair don't.
That's a hair don't. That's a hair don't. But everything else is flawless. Listen, you could pull up every picture of me from when I was on RuPaul's Drag Race, and they are motherfucking hair do not. They're not even hair. They are hair do not.
With caution tape.
Yes, I can remember like working in the hotel room, like, ooh, bitch, when I wear this, fucking RuPaul's gonna want to wear this. I'm teasing the hairline, I'm smoothing it, and then you see me like sitting on the couch where I couldn't even move, and all you see is like this side right here.
Oh no!
And it looked like somebody had chewed a grilled cheese sandwich and then just pressed it all in there. It was bad. It was bad.
Well, that has been hair do, hair don't.
Or hair do not.
And one hair do not. Be sure that you're following Hey Qween on all social media at Hey Qween TV. All right, Delta, let's take it back to Emmy night. Because I want to just get into your whole experience that night. There you are. Look at you looking good in your blue tux with your Emmy. So first, let's talk about when you got that nomination, how that felt.
Yeah, well, we were nominated the year previous.
Yes.
We were nominated the year previous, and unfortunately, somewhere in the channels, some misinformation just fell through in paperwork. And you cannot be nominated for an episode that your name does not appear on the credits.
Right.
So unfortunately, we were nominated for an episode where we weren't on the credits. We didn't.
Right, because it was that first episode.
It was the first
right?
Lady Gaga episode where RuPaul was not in drag.
Yep.
So I think maybe there was a miscommunication and a misunderstanding between, are you nominating the whole season or is it just go by episode? So somewhere we found out that we were not, and unfortunately Matthew, who was working on the show at the time, was also not nominated. But there was an attempt to try to get him added on because he was, in fact, on the credits for that episode. However, RuPaul was not in drag on that episode.
Right.
So therein lies the problem. What are you actually going to be reviewing and possibly rewarding if the piece of work doesn't actually appear?
Right. If RuPaul's wigs don't appear in the one episode that they put forth to the nominating committee, right? Because they watch one episode.
Yeah, and I mean, I have no problem laying it out there. You know, Willem has been active in television for longer than really anybody that's been on Drag Race, aside from Kelly Mantle, who has appeared in a million different things.
Yeah.
And Willem was close friends with Matthew and wanted to see Matthew be rightfully nominated for an award. In doing so, we would have to be stripped of that award nomination. Fair is fair because we didn't qualify because we didn't do the work. However, he didn't do the work either. So therefore, adding his name on would have become a new battle because then it would have been having to strip it from him as well.
Right.
Willem basically said in her thing about Matthew all along has been no sister left behind. But what happens is that she really hasn't thought about the sisters that she trampled on the way. And that's fine. I don't think that's her. I don't think that was her intention. I think she works from a good place. I think, however, I'm a firm believer in knowing when to hold and when to fold, and knowing when to implicate people or like the difference between doing what's right and just trying to be right.
So there was a little bit of clouds over the process of Emmy nominating, but then that second time you got the nomination for an episode you worked on.
The second time it was ours.
Yeah. And
nobody could take it away.
And that must have felt so good.
I had a great time. I got to meet Delta Burke at one of those events.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah. She was just walking
amazing.
around with Gerald McCraney, and she even said, I know who you are. I have friends in
my
Palm
God.
Springs. I work in Palm Springs now 17 years. This past couple Sundays ago was 17 years there. And she said, I have friends in Palm Springs, and they know who you are, and they've told me about you, and I've never seen you, but I've seen cell phone.
Wow.
So we took a picture, and that was cool. I had a wonderful time. And this year, when I attend, whether I'm nominated or not, I have every opportunity to attend. And if you're watching this, yes, I did win. And yes, I'm proud of it. And yes, I will be attending the Emmys when I'm invited. Whether I'm nominated or not, I'm part of the Academy.
Yeah.
I will have an even better tuxedo on.
Now, when you got on stage, you're at the fucking Emmys. They hand you the statue. You thank Matthew. That's amazing that you even were able to pull your thoughts together for that.
I felt like it was only fair to acknowledge the fact that he did create this. He's been doing a million different things like this. And we were able to step in and do this same thing. And he was just in my brain the whole time. I felt like it was only fair to acknowledge the, quote, elephant in the room. Acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You know what's happening here. We're all here. This is if there's ever, I don't need to put it on Instagram. I don't need to put it over here. Just say it to the people that are his contemporaries.
Yeah.
And who I'm learning to be a contemporary of.
Mm-hmm. So let's get deep into the universe that you stepped in when you became the wig stylist for RuPaul, because now when it happened, that was a kind of a quick experience. They basically, well, I'm gonna let you tell it. They called you up,
Yeah.
like
Well, you
kind
know-
of last minute.
You know, being in this industry, everything is very hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
We need something right now, but you know, everything is contingent upon something else. If a camera is messed up, you know, you have to take that time. If a soundboard, whatever it is.
Right.
So in this case, it was definitely hurry up. They said we need to know if you're available to do this. If you are available, we would love to have you.
Did they tell you what it was? They were like, we're okay.
Oh, yeah.
So they
They
didn't
said-
just say there's a thing.
No. They definitely said we're looking for a hairstylist to come in. Your name has come up as the person that we would like to work with because we've worked with you before. And you know, I feel like in this situation, there's a million people that could have been asked because a lot of people do the same kind of work really great. They just do it their way.
Sure.
So if you look on Instagram, I follow many people who do wig styling on Instagram that have cornered the market in what their, again, brand is.
Sure.
Is it vintage hair? Is it braiding hair? Is it whatever? So I think what happened was they probably knew that, hey, they had worked with me before. I live in LA. They weren't going to have to fly anyone in.
Yeah.
And I think they know that I am, honestly, regardless of what people anywhere think, I am actually very easy to work with. I do pride myself on that. I like, if I'm told that I need to be somewhere by a certain time, I don't like fucking with other people's time. And because anything can happen. So they called and they said, would you like to come in and do this? We would need for you to clear your calendar for like 3 months.
Wow.
And so I said, well, the problem is that I would love to do that, but I have made commitments to locations where I have deposits. I'm flying out of town to perform as a drag race performer, not as a hair person or glam squad or whatever terminology it is. So I showed up literally the next day without any idea of what was to happen and sat down with Ru, and Ru said, we've had some changes to our lineup and we don't need to really go into that too much other than to know that we need for you to do this. I am grateful that you're here. I'm thankful that you're here. I want you to just bang out a few styles that you think are along the lines of what I would wear, and together we're going to make it work. Those were her. That's exactly what she said and how she said it, and she was very thankful for our time. And then, of course, we had to work with the people that are responsible for production.
Right.
You know, as far as like getting paid and how that works and being credited. And then I just kind of went into a room. At the time, we were filming here in Hollywood, but the set has changed from different seasons to different locations, wherever studios are.
Is there a vault where they like And now here is the key. And it opened up and it was a wall of wigs.
There is actually. The key is fully made of diamonds. And so when I put it in the door, the actual door lit up.
Oh, okay.
And then it opened, and when the thing opened like this, there was a castle very far, but you could see smoke. And Sigourney Weaver threw her hair over. She said, there is no Dana. There's only Zoom.
Oh, fantastic.
Hello, children. To see part 3 of this interview, click here. To see more Hey Qween fabulousness, click here. And don't forget to subscribe, bitch! Hey! Hey! Hey!